All right, so bell ringer coming up. Describe the impact of Operation Overlord. There you go. So describe the event. Okay. Talk about the beaches. Talk about when it happened. Why it was impactful. Why it was significant. There you go. So pretty much everything about it. Who came up with the plan? Where did it happen? Wow, there's a lot to it. So I'll give you, how about 3 minutes, 4 minutes to work on this. All righty, so where was the birthplace of this plan, this invasion? Where did they first talk about this plan? Troy, go ahead.
The Toronto Conference.
Yeah, the Toronto Conference. Good job. That happened in 1943. Okay, we already know the Allied powers are looking like they're going to win this war. All right, good. So the Operation Overlord come about from that plan or that planned conference. Good. And who was coming up with this planned invasion? Jeffrey?
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower. Good job. Good job. Supreme Allied Commander. Good. And when was it planned? When was it planned? Forney?
June 6th. Well, it was originally the 5th, but they moved back to the 11th.
All right, good job. Yep, so June 5th, but they had to move it back a day because of the weather. They should have had Simmers there with them, right? Yeah, Peyton looked all dressed up today, all dapper. You guys see him in his suit? Wow. He had to come show me. He's hilarious. He cracks me up. All right, so yeah, June 6th, 1944. And the United States, Great Britain, Canadian forces, they're attacking on what 5 beaches? Where is the United States attacking on? What 2 beaches where the U.S. really focused on? Go ahead, Troy.
Utah and Omaha.
Utah and Omaha. Good job. And what about Canadian forces, Great Britain? Where are they landing at? Where are they landing at? What beaches? Troy, go ahead.
Juno, Gold, and Sword.
Yep, Juno, Gold, and Sword. And where is this taking place at? Where is this happening? Griffin, where's this happening? What city? Yep, Normandy, France, right? Okay, yep, good job. Good job. Normandy, France. Across the English Channel, attacking into northern France, Normandy, France. Good, good. And then we all know the attack. Obviously, Germany had many bunkers, defenses right along the beachhead, and trying to protect the Atlantic Wall. That's what they call it, the Atlantic Wall. And the United States, Great Britain, and Canadian forces trying to break it, trying to create a three-front war for Germany and northern France. If they do that, then it's really inevitable. The war is going to be closing out here soon. And three fronts for Germany, and it's going to be hard for them to try to defend themselves. And with that being said, 1944, we'll talk about it. They're going to be pushed back to their main borders, to Germany's own borders, and eventually the capital, Berlin. Okay. So D-Day invasion, very significant because this broke the Atlantic Wall. This is setting up this three-front war in Europe. All right, what about the 101st Airborne? We talked about them. What about the parachuters? What about the airborne divisions? Not just 101st, but I thought it was interesting bringing them up. Griffin? Yeah, good job. Good job. So a little bit before the invasion happened, these parachuters were dropped behind, paratroopers were dropped behind enemy lines to try to disrupt communications, try to cut off supply lines going to the defenses there at Normandy, and really just have a delay of reinforcements to Normandy, France. Okay. And cut off any type of supplies coming in and out. Well, definitely coming in. So that is really Normandy in a nutshell. The Operation Overlord. So make sure you guys remember the beaches. Make sure you guys remember, when it was planned, where it was planned, who came up with the idea. It's going to be important, especially for an assessment, right? Okay, so let's go over the reading from yesterday. Hopefully everybody turned that in. Why is it every time I say that you look up?
Why are you looking at me every time I say it?
Because you always laugh. All right. Okay, here it is. There it is. All right, number one. When did D-Day occur? When did it happen, Forney? June 6th, 1944. Good. All right, two. Go ahead, Griffin. You already labeled this one. You already described it. What do we have for two? Describe why paratroopers were significant during D-Day invasion. Yeah, good job. Cutting off supplies, make it hard for reinforcements to defend Normandy, the beaches, right? And cut off any type of communications. Good. All right. Three, how many and what beaches did the Allied troops invade at in Normandy? So what do we have, Kiara, for three? We just did it in the bell ringer. We talked about it. Are you paying attention? Guess not. Serene, go ahead.
Omaha, Utah, Juno, Sword, and Gold, so 5 in total.
Yeah, good job. So talked about 5 of them: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Sword, and Juno. Good. Juno, you mess with Holmes. Right for you. All right, 4. Describe Robert Edlund's thought when he was escaping the landing pod and saw his friend's landing pod ramp take a hit from a mortar mine. What do you think? Troy, go ahead. What do you have for 4? Yeah, right. Even before they even set foot on the beaches, they thought they were just killed. They were, all these men that are in this landing pod, they didn't even really reach to the beaches. Okay, that this this mortar destroyed the landing pod and killed everybody inside of it, and that no one survived. And obviously, that was just showing and expressing his perspective of the event and how the destruction was already happening before they even set foot on the beaches, right? The deaths were piling up already before they even got to the main mission. All right, good. 5, detail Robert's perspective when traveling through the waters to the beach. What did he run into? Jeffrey, what do you have?
It was more dangerous than actually being on the beach in some perspective by soldiers, and
Why is that, you think?
because of this thing out in the open water, U-boats are all around, and the Germans are on a hill where they can go from there.
Okay, all right. So yeah, there's no cover really, right? There's nowhere to really go, and right when the landing pod, the door drops down, they have to make a run for it to the beaches. And how hard is it to run in water? Pretty hard, right? Especially when you're equipped with a lot of supplies, your uniform, you have a gun on your hands, you have all this ammunition and supplies hanging off you. Obviously, it's very hard. Okay. And the people on the beaches, yeah, it was still hard for them, obviously, but they had some sort of cover. So he was describing maybe just even getting off the landing pod was the hardest part of storming the beaches here because they're literally in open fire. Okay. And we talked about a little bit yesterday how the Germans focused a lot of their attention and their fire on these landing pod doors. As soon as they dropped, really, a lot of these men were sitting ducks. There's really nowhere for them to go. Maybe over top of it, but over top of the side of the landing pod when many of these people obviously would drown even before they even get to the beach because the supplies hanging off them. All right, good. 6, why do you think many of the soldiers were defeated completely when making it onto the beach? Autumn, go ahead. All right, yeah, okay. They see and witnessing everything, right? It's almost like a psychological damage to them. They're just witnessing and seeing the destruction around them. They just see it as almost like an impossible mission to accomplish. Traveling up this beach, through the waters, and trying to avoid any type of fire. Sniper bullets, machine gun fire, mortars, even forms of artillery. Okay, it was really hard for them to make it up this beachhead. And it was really just a shock for many of these men, just witnessing and seeing exactly the destruction of warfare and this invasion alone. Okay, and many of them just kind of sat behind obstacles to try to avoid the fire as much as possible, and really just didn't have the ability to move forward anymore. Okay. 7, what was Robert hit by, he thought, when he was running to the beach? And what did he say to himself as he fell down? Go ahead, Kira.
He thought he was hit by a sniper bullet, and then when he went down, he said to himself that at least he got a bullet.
All right, yeah, okay. So he thought he was hit by a bullet, sniper bullet, and as he fell down, he was thinking about the award, I guess you could say, right? His Purple Heart. And what did he describe? I guess you say the pain of that bullet. Do you remember? Troy, go ahead.
A hot iron right through his leg.
Yeah, hot iron right through his leg. Okay, a hot iron right through his leg. Excruciating pain, and obviously I guess in that scenario, with all the adrenaline flowing, just witnessing everything around him, and receiving a hit like that, it was just almost instant shock for him, right? An instant shock. He was just already thinking about an award, not just saving his own life or surviving this. And he was thinking about what this felt like in his leg. Obviously, a lot of feeling to it, a lot of emotion, but okay, just the fact that he was thinking about what it felt like, it just showed that his adrenaline was running and pumping at an alarming rate. Okay, good. 8, what happened to Robert's friend Butch? What did Robert do and think to himself when he approached Butch? What did Butch eventually do with his life? What do you have, Gracie? Great.
I didn't get it done.
You didn't get that one? Let's help her out here. Forney, go ahead.
He was the blood coming out of his back, and he'd been paralyzed from being shot in the spine. And he was screaming to stop and help him, but they couldn't. And unfortunately, he made it to Farmer, Wisconsin.
A farmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so he was like really just severed his back, okay, and how he was laying on the beach and he was reaching out for help, and many of the soldiers were thinking twice about stopping to help and pull these men to, obviously behind defenses, because they knew that they were going to be open for fire, that they were going to be literally a sitting duck if they tried to do this, that they were going to receive the same outcome if they stopped and tried to help these men out, which obviously many of the soldiers did do that. But I don't know. If I was in that scenario, I'd probably think twice about stopping and trying to pull someone. Obviously, you're open to fire then. Serene, what do you think?
Well, I would have left him there.
You would have left him there? We kept moving?
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
Better than me.
it's sad to say, isn't it? But try to look out for your own skin, I guess, right? Man, couldn't imagine. All right, 9. When Robert looked back to the sea, what did he think as he was laying in pain on the beach? Griffin, what do you have for 9?
Well,
I have that one. Forney, you have this one?
yeah, he thought he was abandoned. The mission was abandoned. He was left there.
Yeah. He thought that the invasion was just scrapped, right? He thought that they were just going to abandon the invasion, abandon the mission, and that he was just left to die. Okay. And I couldn't imagine that thought process there, especially when he already received a wound. He's just kind of laying there waiting for the outcome, really. Okay. And the mission was still underway, but he thought it was over with. He thought the mission was abandoned, that they left it, and that his death would soon to come. All right, 10. What did one of the colonels say to Robert as he laid on the beach in agony? What was Robert's response? Troy, what do you have for this one here?
He said, "You've done your job." And Robert said, "How about using 2 rounds of German ammo?"
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I guess he kind of made a joke out of it, but when the man came up to say that he did his job, he's like, "Oh, what, catching ammunition? Trying to use up some of their ammunition? I didn't really do anything." Okay, and obviously that's going to live with him for the rest of his life as he described that. Okay, and I guess obviously all these men are heroes, obviously, but many of these men describe these heroes as the ones that didn't make it through, that sacrificed it all. And in this case, obviously Robert thought he didn't do enough. Right? He didn't do enough. All right, is there any questions on the D-Day invasion? So yeah, that perspective was interesting here. Obviously, American soldier describing his perspective, and I just couldn't imagine something like that. So we're just going to watch a clip from Saving Private Ryan. Hopefully you guys are okay with it.